Today on People Now, the latest on that bizarre missing boy hoax. We'll tell you everything we've learned. Also the latest on Britney Spears' treatment and how Kevin Federline is showing his support. Reba McEntire tells us how she's getting prepped to host this weekend's ACM Awards. Kathy Lee's last day on the Today Show, and we take you behind the scenes. Plus, Joe Dempsie is here talking season 2 of Deep State and a little Game of Thrones. It's live today on People Now.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to People Now.
Happy Friday.
Woo, made it. Hey, this one kind of came quick, didn't
it did.
Like it was a good week. It was a busy week, but I feel.
And you had a really fun morning. I can't wait to ask you all about the Today Show, Kathy Lee's final day. So that's very exciting.
It was really funny, but even more important than that, if you can imagine, National Deep Dish Pizza Day.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty good day.
I mean, does it get any better than a good deep dish pizza?
That looks good.
Look, it took me a while. I was late to the deep dish pizza game. I used to work at a deep dish pizza restaurant.
And you didn't have it?
In college, that's when I started, and that's the first time I'd ever had it.
Now that we have the full rundown on your history with pizza.
Point is, it's a game changer, guys.
We hope that you guys are planning out your perfect pie to order today. It had us wondering, what topping would you never put on your pizza? Is it black olives? Is it anchovies, salad, or the oh-so-controversial pineapple?
Controversial.
It is controversial. Vote in our People poll or just tweet us your answer with the hashtag PeopleNow. Some people hate
the outrage
pineapple
out there over pineapple. We got to stop it.
You'd be surprised, Jeremy.
Can't wait to see the results of this, what you guys are thinking. People have a lot to say about pizza. People are passionate about pizza. We're going to check in on that People poll in a little bit. But for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending for your Friday. Watch this.
As a parent myself, I feel for them that this is yet another time where they've had their hopes raised potentially, and I really feel bad for them.
Unfortunately, this child is not our beloved Timothy. We know that you are out there somewhere, Tim, and we will never stop looking for you, praying for you, and loving you. We hope that everyone will join us in praying for the young man who claimed to be Timmothy Pitzen.
Wow, really emotional, really heartbreaking stuff there, and a surprising new development in the case surrounding missing boy Timmothy Pitzen. Earlier this week, a person who appeared in Kentucky claimed that he was Timmothy Pitzen, a boy from Aurora, Illinois, who went missing in 2011 after his mother died by suicide. This is a mugshot of the man who claimed to police to be Pitzen. However, DNA tests have proven that he's actually a 23-year-old man from Medina County, Ohio, named Brian Michael Rini. Multiple sources from police to his own brother claim that he has a long history of mental health issues and legal trouble. Now, this mugshot is actually from a 2017 arrest in Ohio when he was charged with burglary and vandalism. He was actually just released last month after serving an 18-month sentence at Belmont Correctional Institute. At this time, it's unclear whether he will be charged with anything for this alleged false identification or if he has retained any legal counsel to speak on his behalf. Now, Medina Police Chief Ed Kinney told ABC7 Chicago that Rini had interacted with police officials up to 60 times during his extensive criminal history in the county. Community members and family of Pitzen are devastated over this news. Take a look at this.
I feel like there's a part of me missing still, and I haven't found it. And it's sickening because that man is a grown man messing with a whole community, a whole family, and we really thought he was going to be back into our arms.
A lot of people there obviously feeling the pain of this. That's a former neighbor of Pitzen who also is not happy about that situation. His own brother, Rini, is also speaking out to reporters, telling Fox 8 that he's been doing stupid stuff like this for as long as he can remember. That was his quote. We have a bit of audio from his brother, too. Listen to this.
He was in and out of jail a lot while we were kids. He has Asperger's syndrome and he has bipolar disorder, but still he should have the rational thinking to not do something like this.
So his brother says that Rini does have a history of mental health issues dating back to his childhood. However, he's trying to make sure that he's not justifying this behavior. A very complicated case we have here. Again, this photo that we're seeing is of the actual Timmothy Pitzen, who disappeared in 2011. Pitzen's family still hopeful that one day Timothy will return home. Here we have a rendering of what authorities believe Pitzen would look like today, 8 years after he went missing. If you have any information regarding Timmothy Pitzen's case, family members urge the public to reach out to authorities. All right, let's move on to this. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's new Instagram page already giving fans a behind-the-scenes peek into their lives, just what we had been waiting for over here in Royal Watcherland. On Thursday, the royal parents-to-be shared their 4th Instagram post, which included a never-before-seen photo from a 2017 trip to Botswana. In the photo, Harry and Meghan are wearing baseball caps and casual clothes. They're hard at work placing a tracking collar on an elephant. Now, the caption explains that Harry and Meghan were working with Elephants Without Borders at the time, and that tracking the animal with a satellite collar would allow conservationists to protect him and other elephants from poachers. The elephant was sedated for 10 minutes while the device was put on. Then he was back up to join his herd. As you can see in the following video in that same Instagram post, all kind of works out. You see the elephant there just kind of coming to after that process. Wow, what amazing video to see that happen.
Beautiful, yeah.
That would be an incredible type of trip to go on. Doing good work there, of course, with the elephants. We know Africa holds a special place in Harry's heart. This is something that he's talked about. He's been visiting Africa since his teens, even refers to it as his second home. Now he's focusing a lot of his conservation work there and serves as both president of African Parks and patron of the Rhino Conservation Botswana. Botswana also holds a special place in Meghan's heart. It was where Harry romanced his future wife just weeks after they met, and where they reportedly fell in love. Harry himself has said they camped out under the stars during that trip, and the time together was, quote, crucial to me to make sure that we had a chance to know each other. That was Harry's quote about Meghan. Harry even made sure Meghan always has a reminder of the special place by choosing a diamond from Botswana as the centerpiece of her engagement ring. The stone is flanked by 2 smaller diamonds from his mother, Princess Diana's personal collection. The Instagram post was shared in honor of Harry attending the London premiere of the Netflix documentary Our Planet with his father, Prince Charles, and brother, Prince William, on Thursday. You guys stick around. We'll have lots more info on that and how their Instagram account is breaking the internet. That is coming up in just a little bit with our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber. Now watch this.
There's a weird lady in the shoe department.
Okay, weird how?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Don't look at me like that. She's the weird one.
No, your eyes aren't deceiving you. That's a clip from Hallmark's 2018 movie, A Shoe Addict's Christmas, with Candace Cameron Bure. You might be asking yourself, why are we showing a Christmas clip in the spring? We just kind of got out of the cold. Well, Hallmark just announced it will show a record-breaking 40 Christmas movies this year. 40. But wait, it gets better. Turns out we don't have to wait until December. You hear the phrase, it's like Christmas in July. Well, Hallmark took that literally. The first Christmas movie of 2019 will air this July during Hallmark's Keepsake Christmas campaign, which marks the halfway point to Christmas. So we'll count it down all the way from the summer. The channel's iconic Christmas countdown will kick off on October 25th. And speaking of Hallmark, one question a lot of people are asking is who is going to replace Lori Loughlin? Loughlin was attached to Hallmark and up until recently starred in their show When Calls the Heart. Now, Hallmark ended up firing Loughlin from the show and all future projects amid her alleged involvement in that college bribery scandal. Some fans of the show have weighed in on who could potentially replace her. So let's take a look at a couple of those suggestions. Some suggested Kelly Martin, who currently stars in the Haley Dean Mysteries on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. She's a seasoned Hallmark actress. The audience knows her. She might be a good choice. Another option was Lisa Whelchel, who we just chatted with earlier this week. Like Kelly, Lisa has also appeared in some Hallmark projects. Fans of When Calls the Heart mentioned that due to Lisa's faith, she's a devout Christian, she could be a good fit for this faith-based show. Another suggestion was Candace Cameron Bure, a Hallmark vet, of course, and Loughlin's Fuller House co-star. Bure has voiced her love and support for Loughlin amid all this scandal. It doesn't seem that she's interested in or even eyeing to replace Loughlin at this time, but hey, we can all hope and wish and kind of predict if it could happen. We're looking forward to Hallmark's kickoff this summer. I could see myself actually diving into this, doing the hot cocoa, maybe once during the summer. Or can you do like a cold chocolate?
I'm personally not too into it.
Not into it.
I'll just save it until it's actual Christmas time again.
I got it. I'll probably do that too. Let's be real. Moving on now. We're wrapping up all the biggest stories of the week in case you missed it. Check this out. Reba McEntire graces the new cover of People. The 64-year-old is hosting the Academy of Country Music Awards on Sunday. She's also in a great place personally. Reba opened up to People about moving on in 2017 from a painful divorce to find love with former oil geologist Anthony Skeeter Lazuso.
When Reba and Skeeter met, neither one of them was really looking for love. But they hit it off, and they kind of took things really slowly. They spent a lot of time together. Over the years, they really did fall in love. Reba says if she wasn't in love with somebody, she wouldn't be spending 2 years with them.
We'll have plenty more on Reba's road to happiness later on in our deep dive.
People has confirmed Britney Spears has checked into a facility for all-encompassing wellness treatment. In January, she took an indefinite hiatus from work to care for her 66-year-old dad, Jamie, who nearly died from a ruptured colon. A source tells People that his illness took a toll on her, and it's been a lot because they're so close. Britney posted on Instagram writing, "We all need to take time for a little me time."
Tributes are still pouring in for Nipsey Hussle. The 33-year-old Grammy-nominated rapper was shot and killed in front of his store in L.A.
Police arrested 29-year-old suspect Eric Holder in a shooting they say followed a personal dispute. A vigil for the community activist turned into a melee after a struggle over a handgun. It led to a stampede that injured dozens of people, including 19 who were taken to nearby hospitals.
Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin were in a Boston courtroom on Wednesday as part of the high-profile college admissions cheating scandal. Loughlin's already been fired from all Hallmark Channel films, and her status on Fuller House is unclear. However, Lori's co-star Candace Cameron Bure lent her support to Loughlin in a heartfelt appearance on The Today Show.
We are family, and we stand by each other and pray for each other, and we'll always be there for each other.
People automatically are just either love us or hate us.
Bristol Palin announced on Instagram that she's leaving Teen Mom after one season, saying it took away her peace. She'd publicly been upset with her portrayal on the show. Bristol wrote that she hopes walking away will allow God to rebuild her in the right direction.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle welcomed a new arrival this week, a new Instagram account.
At Sussex Royal will feature their work and personal moments, including their other impending arrival, a baby, later this month. Their account already has millions of followers after just a few days.
2.5 years after her split from Brad Pitt, their divorce proceedings are moving along.
They're currently meeting in closed-door negotiations, and things have been very peaceful. They're regularly meeting with a court-approved therapist as they privately work on their settlement.
The longtime UN Goodwill ambassador also opened up to People about a possible career in public service.
Angelina has worked for the UN for years, so People naturally asked her, would she ever consider running for office? And she told us, never say never.
Vegas waterworks are coming just in time for the final season of Game of Thrones. The Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas premiered an immersive production at its iconic fountains. It's a water and light show set to the series' indelible score. Pretty cool.
And if you're wondering who's going to voice Chucky in the new Child's Play, you're looking at him.
That's Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, announcing on Twitter that he'll take on another iconic character, the voice of Chucky in a reboot of the 80s horror classic Child's Play. Hamill has won several awards as a voice actor, most famously as the Joker in an animated series of Batman. Hamill ended his announcement with a spooky tag.
And remember, he's more than just a toy. He's your best friend.
Child's Play comes out this summer.
You know, we live in a world of see something, say something.
An Inside Edition viewer may have saved the life of the show's anchor, Deborah Norville. She announced that a viewer saw a lump on her neck, which turned out to be a localized form of thyroid cancer. Norville said she's taking time off for surgery and the recovery.
If you believe in prayer, please say one for me.
Great news, Norville announced that the surgery was a success.
And it says, my joy is non-negotiable. I love you.
Kathy Lee Gifford left the fourth hour of Today's Show this week, but not before a moving moment where she gave her co-host, Hoda Kotb, a parting gift. It's a painting of Hoda and her 2-year-old daughter, Haley Joy, who she adopted in 2017.
I think we better go to commercial. Hurry up. Hurry.
Oh man, that little baby's so adorable too.
So cute. Haley Joy is so adorable.
They're great. We'll have more about Kathy Lee's last day on the Today Show coming up. But first, Andrea, more for us in Star Trek.
Yes, we are kicking off Star Trek today with a new song and video that will have you ready to dance it out on the beach. Watch.
Lately I've been feeling so.
That's the Jonas Brothers' new single and music video for Cool. Honestly, the Jonas Brothers are bringing it. I'm so happy that they're back. So earlier this week, the group announced on social media that a new track would arrive on Friday. Luckily, we got the visuals too. The video kicks off with a guy who appears to be a manager telling the group it's bingo night. Next thing you know, they're performing in front of a crowd of excited senior citizens. Then things get even more wild. The video is colorful, it's vibrant, shows the brothers having a blast, taking over the beach in their 80s-inspired suits, and being really cool while doing it. A press release from Republic Records says the video is reminiscent of 1984 Miami and that it channels the spirit of timeless 80s MTV in all its decadent glory. I definitely see that there. The video was directed by Anthony Mandler, who also directed the music video for Sucker, which was the band's first track together after nearly 6 years. So that video showed the brothers rocking avant-garde costumes, living out all their Alice in Wonderland fantasies. And the best part was seeing the leading ladies in their lives make appearances as well. Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Sophie Turner, and Danielle Jonas joined the guys in that video. Another fun song that's getting us ready for summer. All right, if you've been looking for a little extra motivation to get to the gym, listen up because we've got some news just for you. Beyoncé is joining forces with Adidas. It was announced on Thursday morning that Queen Bee would join forces with the activewear brand, will serve as a creative partner. Now, it's said to be a multi-layered deal that includes Beyoncé launching her signature Ivy Park clothing line under Adidas. Beyoncé originally launched her Ivy Park active line back in 2016 in collaboration with Topshop. Her plan now is to relaunch it under Adidas, where it's soon to include Ivy Park brand sneakers as well. She says, "This is the partnership of a lifetime for me. Adidas has had tremendous success in pushing creative boundaries. We share a philosophy that puts creativity, growth, and social responsibility at the forefront of business." Now, shoe companies signing music artists is nothing new. Puma signed Rihanna back in 2014. That same year, Kendrick Lamar was signed to a sneaker deal with Reebok. And in 2013, Adidas also signed Kanye West. Well, the brand has yet to announce when Beyoncé's collection will launch, but we will be waiting for that. All right, on to this.
Paul, your house is like a museum. I cannot wait to get started.
This is a telephone from the Dick Van Dyke Show, one of my favorite shows of the 60s. People may recognize that this was in the living room of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
That's a clip from Lisa Whelchell's brand new show, Collector's Call. In the show, Lisa introduces the biggest collectors of pop culture memorabilia in the country. It gets pretty wild here. When she stopped by People Now, Lisa filled us in on her favorite collection so far. Turns out that movie memorabilia collector Paul has a lot more up his sleeve. Watch.
So this one guy actually had two really cool separate collections. So he had collections of props from TV shows, and that was really special for me because like he had the telephone from I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke Show and Andy Griffith, which seems kind of like strange, but you see the telephone and it brings back memories as a kid.
Right, well, those pieces in those shows where you would see them on the show, right? Yeah.
The same guy collected historical memorabilia, so he had locks of hair from presidents. So we had George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and John Kennedy, locks of hair.
Locks of hair. Every collection is special to someone, right? I don't know if I'd want locks of hair of presidents, right? Collector's Call premieres after Lisa's Call. That's a special 3-hour TV event that celebrates her favorite episodes from The Facts of Life. Now, it's the show's 40th anniversary, which is crazy. This year, it's the 40th anniversary. We had asked Lisa about her fondest memory from filming. You're going to want to hear this.
I would not be a warm-blooded woman if I did not mention the years that George Clooney was on The Facts of Life. See, I can't even say it out loud. It's like coming out of my mouth.
Still getting a
yes.
Yeah.
So those were fun years. You know, he was not like he is now. I don't think any of us anticipated he would become George Clooney.
Right.
Because he was just very kind of gangly and prankster and crazy.
Are we talking about the same George Clooney here? I mean, he was still swoon-worthy back then, too, like, very obviously. Be sure to watch Collector's Call and Lisa's Call Sunday, April 7th on WeTV. And those are your Star Treks for today.
This gangly old George. Stay with us. Emilio Estevez is opening up about his new project with his brother, Charlie Sheen. That's right. Apparently something in the works. We've got some details. Plus, we're joined live by Joe Dempsie, Gendry from Game of Thrones. Can't wait to talk to him about that final season premiere. My goodness.
All right, guys, it's National Deep Dish Pizza Day. We've been asking you what topping you would never throw on your pizza. So let's check in on the results so far. Let's see. I know what mine is. Mine is, anchovies.
I'm not surprised.
Mine's black olives because I'm one of those people that I cannot have olives. I hate olives.
I can do everything else. Anchovies, it's
You want to put salad on your pizza?
I've had some pizza with a lot of lettuce, a lot of stuff that's done really well. Yeah,
right.
I don't know. Anyway, keep voting on our People poll. Tell us what you'd love on your pizza or wouldn't. Anyway, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Moving on to this. Watch.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
Should we do what we do every show
Every
on 3?
single show.
1, 2, 3. Have a great show!
The final time they'll ever do that, guys.
Yes, Kathy Lee's last episode of Today. And Jeremy, you were there.
I was there. I got to go. They called in people that contribute regularly to their show and to be a part of this final thing. It was honestly such a special event. Flo Rida was there. Barry Manilow was there. A lot of other stars as well. A lot of people paying tribute to her, including the man who apparently has been on their show more than anyone else, filling in as co-host and guest and everything else, Dean Cain. And I grabbed a quick word with him at the end. We just said goodbye to Kathy Lee Gifford. What are you going to miss the most?
Her humor, her innate, or sort of unique outlook on life, and her kindness. I love Kathy Lee. You're a legend.
I'm telling you, it was like a party there. The crowd was all in it.
We saw you in the crowd. We were watching.
Did you see?
Also, she gave everyone a cruise, but did you get a cruise?
No! I was like, oh no, we don't get to, everyone except the people down in that section. It was like, for the one moment I wanted to be up there.
We all thought you won a cruise, and we're like, oh, Jeremy didn't get it.
Didn't get it. Anyway, still worth it though. John Cena was another guest that came through. He came out and played a fun game with them. He's been on their show so many times. So Kathy Lee just jumps up in his arms, and he held it. They held it a while. This was my view.
I couldn't even tell those were her legs.
That's her legs.
I didn't know what that was at first.
This was my perspective of the big bear hug between John Cena and Kathy Lee Gifford, and she really held on too. She loves him, he loves her. It was a lot. Remember, John Cena opened up on their show after that breakup from Nikki Bella in a really emotional kind of thing. He called it a safe space there with them, and you could tell as he said goodbye to her, he really has an emotional connection with them on that show. It's part of the special thing that they created there.
I know. I mean, I always like seeing him on there because he filled in a lot.
Yeah.
And man, it must have been so emotional being there.
So then as we move forward, they're just immediately got to jump right into the next thing. Jenna Bush Hager is, of course, taking over for Kathy Lee Gifford and will join Hoda Kotb there. She will start on Monday. I caught up with her really quickly at the end as well. Oh my gosh, we just said goodbye to Kathy Lee. Your first day is Monday?
My first day is Monday.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, just sitting next to Hoda. Who wouldn't want to?
We can't wait to see you. I can't wait to do trivia with you. And who knows what else.
Come up with some great games.
I will. Let's do it.
Jenna's gonna be great.
She's great, and you know what? She's already filled in so many times. A couple of times I've been over there doing like trivia games or different entertainment segments. She's already been there. It's a smooth transition, no doubt, and you can tell the whole team is ready to embrace her as they kind of send Kathy on as well. So.
How are you feeling?
Oh, how am I? No, honestly, you know what? It was full circle for me as a kid watching Regis and Kathy Lee, and then being a fan of the Today Show. I honestly, the whole experience of being there today is a little cheesy to say it, but it was very surreal for me.
You're glowing, Jeremy.
It was, and you know what? There was a lot of love in the room from that whole cast for Kathy Lee Gifford and the next thing. So anyway, all right, we move now onto this. Watch.
Britney Spears and Kevin Federline have been through their ups and downs over the years, but the former backup dancer is supporting his ex-wife's decision to take some time for herself. Amid her father's recent life-threatening health issues, the pop star decided to check into an all-encompassing wellness treatment facility, a source exclusively told People this week. Federline's attorney Mark Vincent Kaplan told Entertainment Tonight, quote, Kevin commends Britney for recognizing that she needs to take a step back and that she is taking reasonable steps to dealing with her situation in a responsible way. He wishes everyone well. Now, Kaplan didn't immediately respond to People's request for comment. It is believed the couple's two boys are with Federline while Britney is seeking treatment. Now, these two have been through so much together. Here's a look back at just how far they've come. Now, Spears and Federline met in 2004. He had previously worked as a backup dancer for Justin Timberlake. They began a whirlwind romance that shocked all of us. Federline told People in 2008, I met her at a club in Hollywood, Joseph's. Our eyes met, and that was it. We just hit it off right away. I was madly in love with her. Everything just seemed so right. I didn't see it as too fast or too slow. So that September, nearly 3 months after they first began dating, Spears and Federline wed in a surprise ceremony. Very shocking to us. After tying the knot, Spears and Federline settled into a Malibu mansion and expressed their desires to become parents together. Now, Federline had previously had a daughter and a son with ex-fiancé Shar Jackson. The couple welcomed their first child, son Sean Preston, the following year, just 4 days short of their first wedding anniversary. Then in 2006, they welcomed their second child together, son Jaden James. Just 8 weeks after her second son's arrival, Spears filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. In March of 2007, the couple reached an initial divorce settlement, which continued their interim arrangement of joint legal and physical custody of their children. But in June, Federline was still resisting signing the papers over growing concerns about Spears' erratic behavior. During this time, the singer entered rehab for 4 weeks in Malibu. Their divorce was finalized that July, agreeing to share custody of their sons, and the duo amicably co-parented for years. In 2018, Federline began fighting for significantly more child support than he had been receiving over the years. According to court documents filed at the time, Federline claimed he makes less than 1% of what Spears does. Now, after months of court discussions, the singer agreed to pay Federline, quote, thousands more a month in child support. So they've been through lots of ups and downs over the years, but we're really glad that Kevin has been a support for Britney as she gets help currently. All right, now moving on to this.
Jesus, what happened to you?
Who did you talk to about Aisha's friend at the bar?
Hey, sit down. Sit down. Let me get a look.
McKay, right? You spoke to McKay. Anyone else?
No, it was just McKay.
Did you talk to anyone else?
It was just McKay, all right? I promise.
He's involved. He sent his goons after me.
Okay, you don't know that. You don't know who else he's spoken to.
Getting intense, lots of swearing that we had to bleep out. Gendry from Game of Thrones playing MI6 agent Harry Clark, and a clip from season 2 of the spy thriller Deep State.
And look who's joining us now, Joe Dempsie. Welcome. Thanks for
Hi,
being
great
here.
to see you.
So
Thanks
we're
for
going to
having
obviously
me.
talk about Game of Thrones, but first let's talk about Deep State first.
Yes.
Okay? Very exciting. You have a lot going on.
Yeah, you play this operative. Tell us what you love most about diving into that kind of character, especially as opposed to what you've done on Game of Thrones.
Well, it's completely different to anything I'd ever done before. But it's tricky playing a spy because you're supposed to be, you're placed in these extreme situations, but you're very highly trained. So like, don't react too much.
Yeah. Right.
You're not really that human. You're kind of like
reaction,
a robot, very earnest. But I think that's where the trickiness comes in, and I think that you have to find the right moments to humanize those characters.
I feel like in some ways it's every actor's dream. Maybe this is a total projection, that's not true at all, but to play like a spy type character, it's just sort of this quintessential great opportunity.
Well, particularly British actors.
Yes, well, right.
It's this quite famous British spy that like people tend to want to have a stab at playing every now and again.
But were you super stoked about it?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I think first of all, working with Mark Strong in season 1 was like a big draw for me. He's someone who I've loved for a long time, and I just wanted to kind of see his work up close. I wanted to learn how he does what he does, and that's carried on because with season 2 we've now got Walton Goggins. You can see him there.
Yeah, how are we going to see, so for season 2, how is your character going to evolve? Are you out for revenge? Are we going to see a change here?
Well, so the interesting thing about the way season 2 is set up is we have a split timeline. So there's these 2 different timelines running kind of parallel to each other, and the past is set 6 months before season 1. So you get to see Harry as a really green new MI6 agent, and you also get to see him meeting Layla for the first time. So you get to see the beginnings of their relationship. You get to see them being a little less earnest and a little more relaxed and fun and playful. And then there's another storyline that's set 6 months after season 1 where Harry is incredibly jaded.
So that's all going to come together. You were talking to us a little bit more before we were live here about the experiences in New York and how much fun it's been, but we'll get to that in a second. You shot this in Morocco. I want to know if that was a similar experience. I mean, you were doing a lot of work, but is there time to go out and have fun in Morocco?
It was, I mean, Morocco was like the most difficult shoot I've ever done in my life. It was the schedule was ram-packed. We were in the middle of nowhere. But it's an incredible country. The thing about it, though, that if you're there for a while, is everything's a hustle in Morocco.
Okay. Yeah.
Like every time you leave your hotel room or every time you leave your apartment, it's a negotiation.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, you mean walking down the street and everything just kind of is an encounter?
Yeah, but
what about doing your own stunts? Some of that was going on?
When I can.
When you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there something that you're like, I'm not going to do that?
Well, we've got to be careful now because during season 1, I remember Karima and I, who plays Layla, we were doing a scene where we had to be chased through a marketplace. And the last thing our showrunner said to us before we started was, just look after yourselves, okay? You know, it's going to be a long day of filming, just be smart. First take, I accidentally pushed her over. She fell onto the camera tracks and couldn't walk for like...
Wow, no. So you did exactly the opposite of what you told.
Her stunt double had to come and do the rest of it.
You're in such good shape. What was the training that went into it?
When I was. It's been a while.
You used to be in great shape. At that moment, what was the training like?
Yeah.
It was fairly, I mean, I'm very fortunate that one of my best mates is a trainer. So and they used to live with me as well, so I basically had
Oh,
a live-in
Yeah.
personal
Then
trainer.
you have
which
to
is
do
great
it.
for kind of staying in shape.
Let's transition to a little Game of Thrones. I want to go back a little bit. When you first auditioned, what was that process like? Because I'm very curious about it.
It was a long one.
Mhm.
I mean, I auditioned for about 3 different parts in Game of Thrones before I ended up being cast as Gendry. Really? So, yeah, I mean, I auditioned for Jon Snow, which I think half of London did at the time when they were shooting the pilot. And then auditioned for 2 other characters at the Wall, Pip and Gren, 2 of Jon Snow's mates, and then was convinced they must have just think I was a terrible actor. And then even when I auditioned for Gendry, I think it was one of the worst auditions I'd ever done.
Really?
And I
feel like I hear that
Well,
story
why
a
was
lot,
it? But
right?
why was it so bad? Or you just thought it was?
There was all the showrunners were there, the producers were there, and every time we did the scene, they just used to there was like a few moments of silence, and they go, "Yeah, can you just, you have an accent. Can you? American people aren't going to understand what you're saying."
Well, you did a good job of losing it right there. Just
So
transitioned in front of our eyes.
I would try and tone down my accent. It wasn't working. They just weren't. It was just like a blank expression every time.
Yeah. But then whatever, it worked out. So then what's your reaction when you get the role after all that?
Well, yeah, that it was a big mistake.
Yeah.
It was like
how
you
can
must have just panicked and had to cast someone. and so yeah, I was fairly convinced I was going to get fired at any point.
It's like, I think a lot of people feel that imposter syndrome, but you kill it as Gendry. Obviously, you're really sad that it's going to be the final season. So last day set, what was it like for you? Did you get emotional?
I didn't think I was going to, but I did, actually. I think it's the kind of thing that you know is coming, but you can't actually adequately prepare yourself until it happens. You don't know how you're going to react.
What was the moment that kind of put you over the edge?
So there was another actor that finished on the same day as me, and I looked across and I saw them trying not to cry. I saw their lip quiver, and that was me done. I thought, so I'm all right until I see someone else trying not to cry, and then I'm a mess.
Okay.
But you have all these friendships and relationships. We actually just had Jacob Anderson on, Grey Worm, you guys know.
Can't stand him.
He made this bold claim, though, saying his group, Team Daenerys, is the most fun group, okay? What do you think about that? You hang out with a lot of Starks?
He hasn't hung out with Hot Pie before.
Wow.
How much fun does your group have, and the people you usually shoot
Well, I
with?
feel like Gendry's kind of been passed around a bit from like pillar to post, so he doesn't really have a tribe anymore. I mean, like I is his, like his confidant, like that's his mate. But I mean, he's been off with Melisandre, and then that gang that we went beyond the wall with in season 7. That's a pretty cool group. You've got Beric Dondarrion, you've got the Hound.
And by the way, that cool group and all these people in the real world here in New York this week, you guys have really been living it up, doing the thing. The big premiere for the finale
Jacob
event.
told me he was out till 4 a.m.
Round the
Was that this
Jacob
case
was out
for
till
you?
4 a.m. Yes, me too.
That's how you know he was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I saw him leave. Yeah, it's been quite difficult balancing work and play here in New York. We're not going to get another chance to do this, so we're trying to enjoy ourselves.
More of that in store while you're still in the city, or have you?
I need to sleep tonight.
You need to sleep tonight? Okay. All right, let's talk about this. Game of Thrones, known for its dramatic deaths and kill scenes. If you were a director, how would you have killed Gendry off?
I mean, I thought he was going to just get killed off while I was out of the show for 3 years. I thought he's just going to get killed off with a line.
Just something happened. Here's what happened.
Gendry
The boy drowned at sea. There we go. No more Gendry.
So then what's your shock and reaction when you find out how it's actually going to happen? What was that moment for you?
Nice try.
Right.
So do you make it to the end? All right. Well, you guys are always really good about not telling any of the secrets.
But we wish you would.
Yeah,
or blink once for yes, twice for okay, whatever.
Well, anyway, we asked some fans if they had any questions for Gendry. We got a lot of responses, so we're going to ask a few of these in this segment that we call The Realm Demands Answers. You ready?
I think so.
Get ready. There's the big intro, The Realm Demanding Answers. We start off with a question from Twitter. Let's take a look. Maybe. I feel it coming. Here it is. Oh!
I'm on Twitter.
So
there we go. Rowing, running, what can we expect from Gendry in the final season?
Forging.
Forging?
Yeah. There's always something practical for him to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's always been tasked with something or other.
All right.
All right. Next up, we have a video submission, so let's take a look at this.
If Gendry could choose another Game of Thrones character to join him across the seas, who would he choose and why?
If you could choose another character to join him
across seas, who would he choose?
Across the, oh, like on a rowing
I think so,
expedition
yes.
again. Okay. I mean, I think The Hound is always odd couple sitcom material. I
Yeah.
think The Hound and Gendry in a boat. It's an NBC sitcom waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Wow, an epic spinoff is making its way to TV soon. Next question, another tweet. Let's take a look. What is the weirdest Game of Thrones theory you ever heard or read?
There's a lot out there.
So many.
I mean, there are so many. One that I don't know if it's the weirdest, but it could well be the smartest, is that it's all just a section of Westworld.
Oh.
Yeah, we're all just a part of Westworld.
That's really elaborate. That's a
end.
very elaborate thought and how that could play off, but I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I'd like to pretend that I came up with that. Everyone else said before that was my idea.
All right, moving on. We have another video. Take a look at this one.
Gendry, are you going to pursue the throne, or are you going to remain allies with Jon and Daenerys?
I mean, again, you're going to have to wait and see. I mean, Gendry doesn't strike me as the kind of person who craves power.
Mm-hmm.
But then power should always be foisted upon someone, shouldn't it? I think if you want to be the president, you probably shouldn't be allowed to run for office.
Another tweet. Let's take a look. People, okay, can you tell us anything about Arya and Gendry's reunion?
I can't tell you anything about anything.
Okay. I thought that might be what you'd say.
But did you see Maisie Williams do that April Fool's prank where she gave a spoiler?
I heard about it. I haven't watched it yet. I heard she was incredibly convincing.
It was really funny because that must be a real fear that you guys like accidentally say a spoiler.
Do you know, it's not that hard. I think you get very used to it, and also, for the most part, people don't actually want to know, so friends don't ask for spoilers.
Yeah.
It's true. It is funny how we always kind of want to know more in this environment, but fans are like, let me just watch.
Yeah.
You actually really don't want to know.
Yeah.
All right, final one. We have a tweet here. Last tweet. Dear Joe Dempsie, my name is also Joe. My question for you, do you believe that the White Walkers are a metaphor for climate change?
And do you like to be friends with people whose names are also Joe, just in general, because he would like to be your friend?
Yeah, always. Always. It's always good to meet a Joe, the average Joe. I'd never thought that the White Walkers were a metaphor for climate change before, but now maybe they are. I mean, I think they're a metaphor for a lot of different things, the White Walkers.
As we read in.
Quite prescient.
Yeah, I think you'd have to really read into it to take that away. I don't know. Maybe not. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks very much
for answering all the fan questions there. You can catch this man on Game of Thrones when the final season premieres April 14th on HBO. And also see him star as an MI6 agent on Deep States when season 2 premieres April 28th on Epix. Okay, guys, Reba McEntire is on the cover of this week's People, hosting this year's ACM Awards for the 16th time. And we're going to the awards, too. We can't wait to chat with her and see how she's doing. She's amazing.
So excited to see her. Last time she stopped by People Now, the country star filled us in on some of her favorite ACM red carpet looks. Watch.
Well, the red dress. I did it last year with Kelly Clarkson, and I did it in 1994 or 5 with Linda Davis when we sang Does He Love You? So that's one of my favorite looks. Last year at the ACMs, I wore a white fringe Western jacket with my Justin Reba boots. And I thought, man, I was rocking it. So, anything with sparkle, I'm a fan of.
I'm hoping for some more sparkles this year. I think we're going to see it. Reba also shares how she found the sparkle in her love life after a very painful divorce. Here's our deep dive on the singer's cover story.
And there is no whiskey stronger than the truth.
At age 64, Reba McEntire is busier than ever. Her 29th studio album, Stronger Than the Truth, just dropped.
It's the kind of songs that I grew up singing when I was a kid. And southeastern Oklahoma, you have to play music that people can dance to, especially at a rodeo. So that's what I went back to.
She's set to host the Academy of Country Music Awards this weekend for the 16th time.
I think it's going to be an action-packed ACM.
Reba's career is hard fought, especially after a devastating 2015 split from her husband of 26 years, Narvel Blackstock.
Divorce was not her idea. She says that it's really hard to cope when your husband comes and says he's not happy. So she took a long time to really reflect and to pray.
Her personal heartache was compounded by a need to rework the business side of her career, since Narvel was also her longtime manager.
I took over my business. I managed myself. And then when I was tired of that, I said, okay, Clarence Spalding, come be my manager. But I learned so much. It was hard.
In 2017, love struck again with a 70-year-old widower and retired oil geologist, Anthony Skeeter Lasuzo.
The saying goes, you find love when you least expect it, and that is definitely the case here.
Reba and some friends were going on vacation in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And her good friend, Kix Brooks from Brooks & Dunn, said, oh, I know a guy up there, he can show you around.
It was a friendship first, but it just blossomed into a romance.
Over the years, they really did fall in love.
It could have been complicated. Reba is an icon, and that doesn't make for an easy dating partner.
She was trying to figure out how to explain to him. There's some people who may like push you over to get to me, but she says he has taken it all in stride.
So after giving up on love following her heartbreak, Reba is happy again.
She says she looks back at those hard times, and it almost feels like a book that she read. She's so thankful and grateful that she went through it and can really appreciate the good times.
Guys, be sure to watch the 54th Academy of Country Music Awards on April 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS. And to catch all the stars hitting the red carpet, tune in to PeopleTV Red Carpet Live ACM Awards, kicking off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, and streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and People.com. Now we move on to this.
It was like father, like son at the Natural History Museum in London on Thursday night. Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry stepped out for a very dapper and good cause. Here with all the details on that and more is our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber.
Happy
Hello.
Friday.
Happy Friday. So this picture we just saw looks so glamorous. They look so cute. What was it all about?
They were all suited and booted for the global premiere of Netflix's Our Planet at the Natural History Museum. It highlights the multi-generational aspects of the fight to tackle climate change. They were greeted on the museum steps, as we just saw, by Sir David Attenborough, whom William interviewed about the importance of the natural world at the World Economic Forum back in January. Sir David will voice the 8-part series in English language territories, and it's a cause close to all their hearts, the princes. Charles sort of started his work on the environment back in 1968, would you believe, Andrea? And in a speech before the screening, he said, wait for this, "It has given me great pride to see how both my sons, in different ways, have taken up the cause of restoring the balance of nature. When they were much younger, I never thought they were paying attention to anything I said or did."
Which is maybe true.
Every parent can probably relate to that, can't they?
Yes, they can. I love seeing them all out together. It's actually pretty rare to see Charles, William, and Harry step out together for an official event. So tell us about the last time we saw them in a joint outing, and is there any reason it's so rare?
So aside from the larger family gatherings such as Trooping the Colour and weddings and so forth, they last teamed up for the Battle of Vimy Ridge anniversary in 2017. And before that, it was back in 2014 when they attended the conference on the campaign against the illegal wildlife trade. It's all about spreading the love. The Queen is figurehead to 2.4 billion people. So it's sort of a case of divide and conquer, as it were. They all are going out and about and meeting as many people as they can separately.
Makes a lot of sense. So when we saw them out, I mean, I love seeing them out together. This was actually the same day that people confirmed that Harry and Meghan officially moved out of their Kensington Palace home into their new cottage in Windsor. This baby could come any day now. What does this mean for how the birth will happen, Imogen?
Any day. So they've moved to Frogmore Cottage, which is near where their evening wedding reception took place on the Windsor Castle estate. It's around 25 miles west of London, and it's a bit of a step up from Nottingham Cottage at Kensington Palace, where they have been living before, which had just 2 bedrooms, tiny space. This, we think, has about 10. We haven't been able to obviously get in and have a big tour. Don't really know what's going on behind there, but there have been a lot of renovations. They should be making the journey to the hospital for the baby from there. We don't know which hospital yet. It's either going to be the Lindo Wing, which is where Kate had all her kids, or Frimley, which is where Sophie Wessex had hers.
And you've been on Baby Watch, so you narrowed it down to what day this baby is coming.
I felt ridiculous, Andrea, but yes, this week I have been going through my calendar, counting weeks, trying to work this out from announcements and how big she looked, and I felt absurd.
And you've also been trying to figure out exactly when it happened, right?
Yeah, it's just, this is what my life has come to. However, I think if I was a betting woman, I'd say the week of the 22nd of April.
Okay.
But possibly it's a full moon next Friday, and as we know, with Kate giving birth to Prince George, full moons does affect women who are pregnant, so maybe on the 19th of April.
Okay, well, Imogen, you know, you're counting, so we're trusting you. Well, Prince Harry's been out and about all week. He had a curry lunch with veterans on Thursday, and he stopped by a YMCA in West London on Wednesday to continue his work breaking the stigma around mental health. So we have to talk about 2 adorable moments that happened Wednesday. First up, Prince Harry, the ballerina. What's going on here?
So he was practicing his ballet skills with some 4 to 6-year-olds, and one of them teased him that he was wobbling. Look, I think he is wobbling. Look.
No, he's definitely wobbling. Well, actually there. He got it together.
Fair criticism, but this is one of the reasons we love Prince Harry. Prince Harry is like an 80% approval rating in the UK. I mean, it's highest up there along with the Queen, and it's because of this. He's going to make a great dad, isn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, as we said, Meghan could give birth any day now. We love seeing him with pictures with the kids, love the moments when he interacts with them.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this one from Wednesday. We have another interaction that he had. So cute. Look at the baby
this is adorable.
smiles.
This is adorable. He sort of has Diana's instinctive emotional intelligence. He's actually more natural on some levels than William, who has the reserve a bit more of his father, and I guess William is going to be king. But Prince Harry has always been that approachable, accessible, cuddly royal that everybody adores.
And also, we don't know if it's going to be a boy or girl, right?
We don't know. They're saying they don't know, but who knows? At this point, you know, it's pretty advanced when they're having the scans. Sometimes, you know, you can tell. But
I mean, I think he's going to be the best dad. I love this. Such a cute video. Okay,
adorable.
Can't let you go without talking about how Harry and Meghan basically broke the internet this week. They have a brand new Instagram account.
They do.
I mean, they actually did kind of break the internet because one of our producers tried to follow them and they couldn't because there were so many people following them at once. So they broke a world record, right?
They amassed more than 1 million followers in 5 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
Now, the previous record was held by a Korean pop star called Kang Daniel, who hit the mark in 11 hours and 36 minutes in January. If for those of your viewers who haven't done this yet, it's at Sussex Royal.
Okay, and did you follow them, Imogen?
Of course I followed them, and also that will be the first place we see all the baby news.
Oh yeah, do you think we're going to see some selfies with the babies, or is this going to be very official?
I think it's going to be very official, but it'll be less official than the Kensington Palace account. Because don't forget, William is the future king, so it has to be very proper.
Yes.
But Meghan and Harry have way more leeway than he and Katie.
All right, Imogen, thank you so much as
Good to see
always.
you.
Tell them this is a peaceful demonstration.
This is a peaceful demonstration.
So no one's being held against their will?
No, everyone is here because they want to be here.
Everyone is here because they want to be here.
And would it be safe to assume that some are not of sound mind?
I mean, you don't need to be mentally ill to know that it's freezing outside, Detective.
The clip there from the new movie, The Public, written and directed by the film's star, Emilio Estevez. And the story takes place in the Cincinnati Public Library, where freezing temperatures turned the building into an impromptu shelter when a peaceful protest is staged by the city's homeless population.
Now, while developing the story, Estevez spent time with members of that community to better tell their story, has even screened the film at shelters around the country. So we asked him about his process. Take a look.
This movie celebrates not only librarians and social workers and people who are in the trenches trying to solve this problem, but it celebrates the outcasts and the misfits and the poor and the marginalized and the unsung. And so now they're watching this film, they're like, that's me. I see myself. And so there's an amazing, empowering, very emotional thing that happens in these screenings.
I wondered about if there's a particular encounter you had with a homeless person that really stands out to you.
Well, there are quite a few. In doing the research, again, it's that fine line of what questions do you ask? Where do you sort of cross that line? Where are you now a vulture because you're going to use those stories? So it was all about full disclosure. Some of the individuals that I spoke to didn't want to talk to me. Some were hostile towards me, but others, once they knew that I wasn't a threat, a lot of the individuals who I spoke to opened up. And some of these stories were as funny as they were heartbreaking.
And some of that heartbreak really translates into The Public. Also, starring opposite Estevez, Alec Baldwin plays a detective trying to end the library standoff, but he's also coping with his son's addiction issues.
Yeah, here you can see a really intense scene between the two seasoned actors. We spoke with Estevez about his love for Alec Baldwin, which it turns out he's been an admirer for a long time, of his work as well as anything, and if he thinks that he'll continue to parody our president as he does on SNL. Here, take a look.
Well, I've always wanted to work with Alec. He's an extraordinary actor, and we know him now for so long as this comedic actor from SNL and 30 Rock, but I grew up watching him doing these amazing dramatic roles. And so to have him go back and sort of remind all of us what a phenomenal dramatic actor he is, I'm just so proud of the work that he does in this film.
Have you followed along with him doing Trump on SNL? What do you
Who
make
hasn't?
of
I mean, you can't live in America and not. I think it's brilliant. I think what he's doing is just absolutely brilliant. But I don't think he's going to be doing it much longer. I think again, he's talking about this experience, and he wants to follow it up with more dramatic roles in film. And he says, Emilio, get busy, start writing one for me.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what Alec Baldwin will be up to in the future. Also, we really need to address this cast. Absolutely stacked with stars. Michael K. Williams, Christian Slater, Taylor Schilling, Gabrielle Union, Jenna Malone. The list goes on and on.
As you watch it, like every scene, you're like, oh, that person's in it. There's a lot of really big names in it. And while The Public has many serious themes, Estevez also consciously tried to make an all-around entertainment movie outside of any political agenda. But when asked about what he hopes the audience will take away from the film, here's what he had to say.
In terms of the issues that the film addresses, especially homelessness and mental illness, let's park our bias at the door. Let's stop assigning a story to that individual who and how we think they arrived at this situation in their life, because generally our idea about that is going to be wrong. People have a bias about me and how I grew up, about you as well. So, and you feel it when you bump into somebody and they're like, they think they know all about you. Well, chances are they're wrong, right? The same thing applies to somebody on the street.
Such a great message. Also some really hilarious moments in this film as well. Make sure to check out The Public, which is out now.
We couldn't let Emilio go without asking him about his equally famous brother, Charlie Sheen, and if they plan to work together again. We also asked how Charlie's doing these days since revealing that he's HIV positive. Take a look. Working with Charlie, would you do that again?
I would. Yeah. Oh yeah, and if there's some, you're going to, yes.
Oh, some things are stewing.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
Okay, we're not announcing.
Not enough to talk about right now, but we're close.
We followed along closely. How's he doing?
He's great. Amazing. Yeah. I mean, he's very public about where he's at right now, and we're just proud of him.
I think I just saw him on the cover of a Maxim magazine or something.
There you go.
Over in the UK somewhere.
Hey,
he's out there doing it.
It's good work if you can get it.
He almost told us what the project was. We were trying.
Something's stewing, though.
Yeah, I would love to see those work together again.
It would be fun, for sure. I think a lot of fans would like that as well. I mean, I'm just trying to think of what kind of project would they do.
We'll take anything.
We'll take anything. Take one last look at our People poll in honor of National Deep Dish Pizza Day. We've been asking what topping you would never put on your pizza.
Mine stays the same. It's olives. I hate olives. Anchovies.
Anchovies by far the winner. All right, the people have spoken. That's it. We'll be back with another question of the day on Monday, so tune in for that. Also coming up next week, Luke Hemsworth will be here to chat about his new movie with Kurt Russell. You know, obviously, he's going to be filling us in on his famous brothers, Chris and Liam Hemsworth as well.
Plus, gym, tan, laundry, and a little bit of love. Jersey Shore's Vinny and Pauly D are here talking about trying to find their ride or dies on the wild new reality show. So excited for that. Thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Waka Flocka Flame and Tammy Rivera. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
How y'all doing on Waka Flocka Flame?
And I'm Tammy Rivera.
And this is
One Last Thing. The last song I got stuck in my head was Bird. It's cold in here. There must be some bubbles in the atmosphere. That's from Bring It On.
Wow. The last time I treated myself?
I like to know that.
Yesterday, I got my hair done.
That was a treat?
Yeah.
The last good meal I ate was the halal you just got from...
The halal?
Yeah, he got some halal downstairs. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, we don't get that in Georgia, so...
No, we don't, so...
We eat all the fancy meals and all this
it was fire.
caviar, stuff.